Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be showing you how I very quickly prep my 4 favorite high fiber foods that have helped me lose 60 pounds. All right, so the first high fiber food that I'm going to be prepping for the week are beans. Now, if you're new to my channel, this is something that I prep every single week, but I didn't let them soak overnight, which is something I typically like doing. So I'm doing it the fast track way, and that is just to pour some very hot water over the beans and let them soak for about 2 hours or so. I personally love soaking them. I know you don't need to in the Instant Pot, but I just prefer so. At any rate, so I'm just pouring the water. I'm going to set it aside and let that sit for a couple of hours. Once it is soaked, I'm going to go ahead and strain that water because we do not want to keep the soak water. Here I'm adding in some fresh water, and then I'm going to pop it into my Instant Pot. I throw it in the Instant Pot for 28 minutes. I don't know, that's just the magic number I use to cook all my beans, and they turn out like super soft, like butter soft. And then once they are done, I'm going to go ahead and strain it. But this is the liquid that I'm actually going to keep because this is aquafaba that I'm going to be using in my cooking throughout the week. I did just put out a video on how to make aquafaba. I will have that listed in my description box below. All right, so if you are also on a health and weight loss journey and you're looking for a little bit more direction as far as what to eat, right now I am running the biggest sale I have ever run on my books. And that is that all of my books, including my newest ones, are on sale for only $5 right now. These are the exact recipes that I was eating to lose the weight, but the sale will only be on for the next 48 hours. You can find the link in the description box below. All right, so the next high fiber food I'm going to be prepping are potatoes. I ate a ton of potatoes to lose 60 pounds. Potatoes are our friend. They do not make us gain weight. So at any rate here, I'm just going to prepare a really big batch of potatoes. There is no set amount. Prepare however many or however little that you want, but you can get a rough estimate here. I don't know, maybe like around 10 or 11 potatoes there. I don't know. But basically, I just go ahead and peel them. And then, of course, we're going to go ahead and wash them. So I just throw them in the strainer, give them a good rinse. And then after that, I'm just going to chop them up into bite-sized cubes. And what I like about doing it this way is similar to how I prepare my beans. I don't like to add any spices or any sauces or anything like that. I like to just kind of prepare them in their natural state. That way, depending on how I'm feeling throughout the week, I can prep them however I want. So if I'm feeling to have, a certain flavor, maybe something very savory or spicy or something the one day and not so much the next day, or, if I want to have them as hash browns one day or in a soup the following day, I can really play around with it. So this is how I love to prep my starches, just plain Jane, so that they're just kind of ready to go however I want to prepare them. So there you can see it kind of, produces quite a large batch there. So basically I just go ahead and throw it in my steamer basket, and I steamed these potatoes for roughly around 15 minutes or so. But you just want to make sure that you cook them long enough that a fork is able to nicely pierce them. You also don't want to overcook them because then they're going to turn to mush. And especially the fact that we have them in nice bite-sized cubed pieces, we want to keep them intact. So you definitely don't want to overcook them. And the other reason is that later in the week when I go to prepare them, I will further be cooking them a little bit more. So it's okay if they're not fully cooked. So once they were done, I just remove them from the heat, toss them in this bowl to set aside, and I just wait until they're perfectly cooled down before I package them up and put them in the fridge. Okay, so the next high fiber food we're gonna prep, which is one of my absolute favorite, are sweet potatoes. Oh my gosh, who doesn't like sweet potatoes? So here I'm just going ahead and cutting the ends off of them and peeling them just like I did with the regular potatoes. Now, I only had 3 potatoes on hand. I didn't get to the store in time. So typically I would probably prep maybe 6 of them, or sometimes I switch it up. Sometimes I have a little less of the regular potato and more of the sweet potato. Again, there's no hard rules with, my recipes or my meal preps or anything. It's just kind of tailor it to however you like. And that's what I do for myself, even from week to week. So it can always look a little bit different than the last. So there, I just chopped them up, gave them a good wash, And now we're going to go ahead and throw these into the steamer basket. I already had the water nice and hot from the regular potatoes, so this just made the process go a little bit faster. So I just went ahead and popped that on, covered it up, and let them steam for about 10 minutes. I would even say even a little bit less than 10 minutes you can get away with. The sweet potatoes actually cook so much faster than the regular white potatoes, so you do want to keep a close eye on them. But basically the same thing. You just want to make sure that the fork can pierce it nicely, and then get them off the heat. So here I just set aside both my potatoes and my sweet potatoes. You can see that they're still piping hot, so I'm just letting those cool down. So in the meantime, we're gonna go ahead and prep our last starch for the week, and that is a 1-pan rice dish. I have actually shown how to make this on my video. I will have that video linked in my description box below, but like I think I mentioned in that video, again, this rice dish looks different from week to week how I make it. I just kind of throw in whatever I have on hand, but this is super easy. I love preparing rice this way. It just makes kind of a complete meal. My kids love it too. My husband loves it. So it is definitely a go-to around here. So basically I just washed and threw 1 cup of rice in there. And then here I'm going ahead and throwing 2 cups of chickpeas or any beans that you have on hand. As you can see, I grabbed this out of my freezer. They're frozen. I told you I always have beans on hand. Always, 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 because I use them for my fiber protein shakes every single week. If you don't know what my fiber protein shakes are, I will have a video linked in my description box below, but basically they are shakes that include beans that I drank all along my weight loss journey, and they really, really helped me out a lot. So you can check that video out in the description box below. But like I mentioned, I'm just throwing in whatever veggies I have on hand. So in this case, I threw in some chopped parsley, onion, red pepper, and then here I'm just adding 3 cups of water, and I'm gonna go ahead and season it up. So I'm just using a little bit of garlic powder. Actually, that's a joke. It's not a little bit. I'm using a lot of garlic powder. I learned from my Moroccan husband that, you know, adding a little bit extra spice than what I'm used to is the ticket to making it taste delicious. Okay, so I added in some paprika and a little bit of thyme, and here I'm just adding in some vegetable soup stock. Any brand will work, and basically give it all a good mix. And even when it comes to the seasonings, you know, you can season it up however you like. You can also replace the water with broth instead. We're going after full flavor here. That's always my goal. So here I'm going to go ahead and pop it in my oven at 400 degrees, and it's going to cook in there for about 40 minutes or so, or until it looks something similar to this. You want all of that liquid to be nicely absorbed, and it turns out so soft and so flavorful. So this actually gives quite a bit of food. I end up portioning it out and then throwing it in my freezer after the first 24 hours and take it out as needed. Both my kids and myself love this dish. All right, so lastly, we're gonna go back to those potatoes that have been cooling off. Now they're nice and cool to the touch. So I'm gonna go ahead and get them ready to go in the fridge. So sometimes I use some of my reusable Ziploc bags I got off of Amazon. Sometimes I use a regular Ziploc bag, and sometimes I use a container. But today I had both containers clean and ready to go, so the containers it is. So now we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing with the sweet potatoes. We're just gonna go ahead and put those into the same container. I love prepping my potatoes like this because I'm telling you, it makes your life so much easier when you're on a health and weight loss journey and you're trying to stay on track. There is nothing worse than being so hungry, getting home and just, you know, needing something to eat right away, and you have to sit there and wait for something like potatoes or rice or beans to cook, because as we all know, those starches take a good minute to cook. So it's so nice when we have them ready to go in advance. So here I'm just going ahead and prepping that aquafaba. Again, aquafaba does not have to be from chickpeas only. It can actually be made from any bean. So always save your bean water. It can be used in so many different ways, in soups, sauces, even salad dressings. Again, I go into more detail in my video where I talk about aquafaba. That will be in my description box below. But here I just go ahead and put that into a nice canning jar. Airtight container of any sort would work, and pop it into the fridge, and it's good for about a week. So next we're going to go ahead and get those beans put away. As you can see, those have cooled down quite a bit as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw these into a Ziploc bag. When it comes to my beans, I keep them in the fridge for about 4 days, and then I transfer them over to my freezer. I love using frozen beans in my fiber protein shakes. It makes them even colder and even nicer. So that's the main reason I use them. As well as, like you saw in today's video, just with any dish, it's so easy to just pull them out of the freezer and use them as needed. Doing these really fast ingredient preps for the week are a game changer. They help me so much with staying on track, and they will help you as well. It really just takes a lot of the stress out of what you're going to eat, and I promise you that your future self will thank you for having it all prepared and ready to go. So this is how I portion out my rice, like I mentioned earlier in the video. I absolutely love these containers. I found them on Amazon. If I can find the link, I will have it posted in my description box below, but these have been a game changer. The one side is actually 2 cups and the other side is 1 cup, and they hold up so well. So I actually use them as part of my ingredient prep, as well as whenever I leave the house, I package my food up in these. And check out the rose gold color. Hello, I love it so much. So anyways, I will look for the link and have that in my description box below, but I totally love these ones. Putting a little bit of effort and planning into my meals is what's truly helped me get the 60 pounds off this time and keep it off. So when I say if I can do it, you can do it too, I truly mean that. So once again, if you're in need of some more oil-free, whole food, plant-based recipes for weight loss, be sure to check out that incredible sale. Again, it will only be on for 48 hours. The link can be found in my description box below. See you guys in the next one.